Human trafficking in New Zealand is absolutely an issue. This is the story of Lucy, who was 15 when she was raped and trafficked by somebody that she knew. Lucy's family was introduced to this guy by her older sister. He was 35 at the time, and over the months he had kind of weaved his way into the family. To know the parents, was taking the children out on outings. He became like a favorite uncle. What I know of this story is that he then moved into the bedroom next to her, so I'm assuming he came to live with the family. And after a while, he noticed that Lucy's mental health was suffering. This is where it gets weird, and I'm not sure how this played out. However, because she was struggling, he recognized her vulnerability and he offered to sleep on the floor of her bedroom to keep an eye on her. There's probably a million things that we can all say here. Like, there's so many questions around why he was even in the house, why he was living there, let alone why he was allowed to sleep on the bedroom of the floor. And I think it's easy to assume that the parents are probably naive. However, in saying that, I can't imagine that they ever thought that he would start raping their daughter, which is what happened next. She never came forward with this because she was afraid and she was also ashamed. A lot of victims of abuse tend to actually carry shame, which is what stops them from coming forward, which is such a shame, because they are the ones that shouldn't be ashamed of what's happened to them. It is the predators who should be ashamed. This is where he actually put her on a dating site. He was getting responses to her profile, and that's where he started to pimp her out. The youngest person that he managed to pimp her out to was 37, and the oldest being 67. Now keep in mind, she was 15 at the time. He was charging between $100 to $200 for these men to have sex with her. This case is wild to me, like just how it all unfolded. However, it is also such a classic example of how grooming works and how predators make their way into your life, into your family. Then when you're vulnerable, they will pounce and exploit that. Apparently this case is not uncommon in New Zealand. I will link the article in the caption for you to read, but there are other stories of trafficking in New Zealand. Like, I know that there was a big trafficking ring that was busted in Auckland. So if you do want me to cover any more stories about New Zealand and trafficking in New Zealand, maybe just give you a different example of some stories that have happened, drop a comment below.